Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
One of the interesting blessings of this time is that rabbis are able to get a glimpse of what other congregations are doing around the world, around the city. And last night for Shabbat, I wanted to peek in and look at Temple Isaiah's beautiful service, and Rabbi Zoe Klein was leading the service with her family from her living room. And she started with this, Maya Hayom, how beautiful this day is. And that's exactly what we say each morning. And even when the day is hard, even when we know obstacles are set before us, how beautiful is this day that we are alive, that we take a deep breath and know that we can make a difference in this world. So sing with us, and thank you to Rabbi Klein for that beautiful inspiration. Maya Hayom.
Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom. Maya Hayom. Shabbat Shalom.
Join us in the chorus.
Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome to our service. We're so glad that you joined us this morning. We'll ask that you please rise for our morning blessings. We are found on page 103.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan l'sivin avos min yom v'layla. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani b'tzalmo. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani ben chorin. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asani Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam pokeach ivrim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam al bisharumim. Yai lai 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 lai. Ya la la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la. Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom.
So in our Torah in the round service, we usually pause at this moment and we state and articulate what we're grateful for. And sometimes just one or two people have the courage to share out loud. I'm going to ask you to share in a second. Don't go anywhere. Just one or two people have courage to share what they're grateful for. And when those people do, I can see other people's eyes kind of like, oh, yeah, I'm grateful for that too. And so I'm going to ask you to do something odd. Even if you're by yourself, I'm going to ask you to share two things that you're grateful for and say them out loud. Just don't hold them inside, but say them out loud. And if you're with someone else or with a group of people, just take a few moments and say to each other, I'm grateful for this today, and I'm grateful for that today. So number one, I'm grateful that I have the ability to be here this morning and share Shabbat with all of you. I can't tell you what a difference it makes in our lives. It gives us meaning and purpose and fulfillment. So we're grateful for you. And I'm just truly grateful for my beautiful family and just the blessing and knowing that we're together really fills my heart with gratitude. How about you?
I'm going to extend on the gratefulness of family and realizing that we are together, but also all the people that allow us to be together. I'm actually thinking of the people that we don't think about. Think of all the deliveries that we have received, whether it's from food sources or packages that in normal times we wouldn't even think twice. But now we actually say thank you when the person runs away because they don't want to have the package touch our door. So thank you to all those first responders, people who are on the front lines, people who are usually not on the front lines that allow us to be the family that we can be. Thank you.
Beautiful. I know, feel free. If you'd like to write in and let us know what you're grateful for, we'd love for you to share it with our kind of virtual community. Share it as if I'm asking you in the chapel. I am asking you in the chapel. So feel free to write in. What are you grateful for this morning? It's the exact rubric in which the rabbis wanted to start a service. We start with gratitude to lift our hearts in thanks to our Creator. We're found on page 104. Keep writing in. Join our service.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam atir asurim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam zokef kefufi.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam rok haaretz al hamayim. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamechi mitzadei gaver. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam she'asa li kol tzorki. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam ozer Yisrael bigvura. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam oter Yisrael b'tifara. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam anoten leYahweh koach. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom. Baruch atah Adonai gomel chasdim tovim namo Yisrael.
Amen. We ask those who are mourning or observing yahrzeit to remain standing. Everyone else may be seated as we continue on page 121 with the Mourners Kaddish. Yit gadal ve'yit kadash shemei rabba ve'alma divra kerute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael ba'agala v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabba mebarach le'olam u'lomei amaya. Yit barach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tush bechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. Osei shalom b'mromav hu ya'asei shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru.
Amen.
Amen. We ask everyone to please rise or remain standing for Baruch She'amar, page 122.
Baruch she'amar v'haya ha'olam. Baruch hu, Baruch oseh v'reishit. Baruch omer ve'yoseh. Baruch gozer u'mekayem. Baruch merachem al haaretz. Baruch merachem al habriot. Baruch mishalem zachar tov l'reya. Baruch Chai la'ad v'kayam ha'netzach. Baruch hodeh u'matzil. Baruch shemo yalalai lai yalalai 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 lai yalalai 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 yalalai.
We turn to page 134 for Sadiq Tamar Ifrach.
Sadiq Tamar Ifrach, Ifrach, Sadiq Tamar Ifrach. Sadiq Tamar Ifrach, Ifrach, Sadiq Tamar Ifrach. K'erez balvanon yiske, k'erez balvanon yiske, k'erez balvanon yiske, yiske. K'erez balvanon yiske, k'erez balvanon yiske, k'erez balvanon yiske, yiske.
Rabbi Sherman doesn't know what I'm choosing. So I'm choosing page 143, Ozi V'Zimratya, page 143.
God gives us strength to be together as we sing. Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehi Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehi Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehi Lishua Ozi V'Zimratya Vayehi Lishua.
We continue on page 147 with our Shacharit service. It's funny, I didn't realize Cantor Feldman and Rabbi Sherman had a conversation right before the service. It's a regular Shabbat, everybody, which both feels strange because in a sense, when we're celebrating a holiday, it feels like things are a little different or out of sorts. But now we're spending a regular Shabbat together. So in a sense, we miss you more. Page 147, Shochanad. Shochanad marom v'kadosh shemo v'chatuv rananu tzadikim b'Adonai la'yesharim nava tehila b'fi yesharim tithala u'divrei tzadikim titbarach u'lashon chasidim titromam u'b'kerev kedoshim titkadash Sheken chova kol yitzrim lefanech Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei avoteinu lehodot lehalel leshabech lefaer leromem lehader levarech lealeh ulkales al kol divrei shirot v'tishbechot David ben Yishai abdecha mishichecha
Yishtabach shimcha lawahad malkeinu
Berachot v'hodaot me'ata ve'ad olam Baruch ata Adonai El melech gadol v'tishbachot El ha'odaot Adon ha'niflachot
Ha'bocher b'shirei zimra Melech elchei ha'olamim Gadal v'yikadash shemei rahaba Yamad yivrach yerutei v'yamlich malchutei B'chayeichon v'yomeichon V'chayei techol beit Yisrael Ba'agala u'bizman karim Ve'imneru amen Yehi shmei rabba mevorach Le'olam olam me'yom maya Yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitroma v'yitnaseh v'yitkadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudesham berichu v'yelam mikol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata v'amirat be'yama v'yimeru
I hope everyone's standing for the Baruch Hu. We're found on page 149.
Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach
Baruch Adonai Hamborach Leolam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamevorach leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam yotzero u'borei choshev osei shalom shalom u'borei et hakol yotzero u'borei Shalom, shalom, borei et hakol.
You may be seated. אין כרכך אדוני אלוהינו בעולם הזה, ואין צוותך מלכנו לחיי העולם הבא. אפס פותח גואלנו לימות המשיח, ואין דומה לך מושיענו לתחיית המתים. Page 151, אל אדון.
אל אדון על כל המעשים ברוך ומבורך בפי כל נשמה גדלו וטובו מלא עולם דעת ובונה סובבינותו המיקאל החיות הקודש ונדר בכבוד על המרכבה זכות ומישור לפני כיסו חסד ורחמים לפני כבודו טובים מאורו שברא אלוהינו יצרם בדעת בבינה ובשכל כוח וגבורה נתן בהם להיות מושלים בקרב תבל מלאים זיו ומפיקים נהוגה נאו זיום בכל העולם שמחים בצאתם וששים בבואם עושים ביים ארץ גאונם פאר וכבוד נותנים לשמוע צולה ורינה לזכר מלכותו קרא לשמש ויזרח אור רעה והקים צורת הלבנה שבח נונים לו כוחות במרום תפארת וגדולה שרפים ויופנים וחיות הקודש ילילה 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 ילילה
יברך מושיענו על שבח מעשה ידיך ועל מראה אור שעשית יפרוך הסלע.
יברך צורנו כנגאלנו
וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושה וטהרה, בשירה וזמרה, ברכים ומשבחים, פרים ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים. וכולם מקבלים עליהם ומלכות שמיים זה מזה, ונותנים רשות זה לזה, להקדיש לאותם בנחת רוח, בשפה ורנימה, קדושה כולם כאחד עונים ואומרים, ביראה.
קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוך כל הארץ כבודו
והפנים בחיות הקודש ברעש גדול מנסים לעומת שרפים, לעומתם משבחים ואומרים.
ברוך הוא אדוני ממקומו.
אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכה כולנו מהרה לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני, יוצר המאורות. Just a little staff meeting right now. Page 154, we continue silently. Ahava Rabbah. Please continue on your own. We gather our tzitzit in the middle of the page 154, as we prepare for the Shema. V'havienu l'shalom me'arba kamfot haaretz v'tolichenu komemiyut le'artzenu ki yavo al yeshuata uvanu v'acharta mikol avdei lashon v'kerabtanu l'shimcha hagadol selah באמת להודות לך וליחדך באהבה. ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Listen Israel Adonai Our God is one. We're going to do that 3 more times before our Shema to prepare. Listen, Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Listen, Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Just our voices. Listen, Israel, Adonai, our God is one. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך.
We're found on page 156.
למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם, אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים, אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמת, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
We're found on page 157. לדור ודור קיים ושמו קיים, וחיסון אחון ומלכותו ואמונתו לעד קיימת. אמת שתהו אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, מלכנו מלך אבותינו, גואלנו גואל אבותינו, יוצרנו צור ישועתנו, פודנו מצילנו מעולם שמך, אין אלוהים זולתך.
עזרת אבותינו אתה הוא מעולם.
I was just rereading one of my favorite pieces, a midrash, and the midrash goes that when Bnei Yisrael reached the Sea of Reeds and the sea began to split, there were 2 Israelites that started grumbling to each other. And Reuven and Shimon started to remark that the mud, they could see the mud at the bottom of the water, and the mud was sticking to their shoes. And they realized, you know what, there was mud back in Egypt. And what's the difference between the mud on my shoes and the mud that's getting all over my legs? What's the difference between this mud and that mud? What's the point of walking through this dirt and this mess and this wet? If, you know what, I had the same dirt and the same mess and the same wet and the same mud back in Egypt. What's my purpose in being here? And the reason why I love this midrash is because all Reuven and Shimon had to do was look up and see the beauty and the miracle and the majesty of the waters that were roaring and rushing around them, to see that they were actually living within a miracle. And sometimes we forget to look at the miracle in which we're living because we're stuck in the mud. And not just that we're stuck in the mud, because a lot of people are stuck in the mud, but our eyes are focused and fixated on that mud. And so we're found on page 158, and whatever your circumstance is, we're not denying that there may be mud. We can all name those different pieces of difficulty that we live through. But all we're asking you to do is, even walking through that mud, look up and just get a sense of the miracle that you may be living right now. Page 158. Don't get stuck in the mud. Raise your eyes. Mi chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא. מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא 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 תהילות עושה פלא, עושה שירה חדשה שבחו גדולים, לשמח הדבת הים, יחר כל המהודים, ליחו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד.
Please rise.
צור ישראל, קומה בעזרת ישראל, ובני חינוכך, יהודה וישראל. בוא עלינו, אדוני צבאות שמו, קדוש ישראל, ברוך אתה אדוני, אלוהי ישראל.
We're found on page 159. We remain standing for our Shabbat morning Amidah.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, אלוהי אברהם, אלוהי יצחק ואלוהי יעקב, אלוהי שרה, אלוהי רבקה, אלוהי רחל ואלוהי לאה, האל הגדול הגיבור והנורא, אל עליון, אומר חסדים טובים וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ומביא גואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה, אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי מתים אתה, רב להושיע, מוריד הטל, מחכל חיים וחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר, עמוך בגבורות ומדמם ומצמיח ישועה ונאמנת החיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים.
The Kiddush is found on page 161.
מקדש את שמך בעולם, כשם שמקדישים אותו בשמי מרום, ככתוב על יד נביאך, וקרא אל זה ויאמר יא לילה לה 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 לילה לילה לה 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 לילה לילה לה 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 קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלך כל הארץ כבודו. אז בקורש גדול אדיר וחזק, מה שמכל, מתנסים לעומת צרפים לעומתם, ברוך יאמרו יא לילה לה 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 לילה לילה ברוך כבוד אדוני ממקומו. במקומך מלכנו תופיע, במקומך מלכנו תופיע, ותמלוך עלינו, ותמלוך עלינו, כי בחגים אנחנו בחיי. מתי תמלוך בציון, בהר בימינו לעולם ועד תשכון, תתקדש ותתקדש בתוך ירושלים עירך לדור ודור ולנצח נצחים. V'yereneinu tirena malchutecha. Hadavar hamor b'shirei uzecha. Al yedei David Mashiach tzidkecha. Yimloch Adonai le'olam. Elohai Tzion ledor vador. Hallelujah. Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador nagid God lecha.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ulenetzach netzachim. Ulenetzach netzachim. Kedushatcha. Kedushatcha nagdish. V'shivchacha Eloheinu. V'hipinu lo yamush. Lo yamush le'olam va'ed.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador. Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador.
Ledor vador nagid God lecha. Ki hamelech gadol, gadol v'kadosh, gadol v'kadosh ata. La 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la ya la la ya la la. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh.
We remain standing in our silent, reflective prayer. Please take this time for your personal prayers. If you're using the Hebrew or the English, then we continue through page 166. Otherwise, pray the meditations of your heart.
Oseh shalom bimromav. Uyaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Please be seated. Kaddish Shalem, page 167. Yitgadal v'ikadashem me rabba,
Amen.
ve'alma divrakirte, v'yamlich malchute, b'chaychonu v'yomechonu b'chaydecho be'Yisrael, v'agalav izman kari v'imeru.
Amen.
Yehi
Yehi
shmei
shmei
Rabba
Rabba
mevarach,
mevorach le'olam olam me'omaya yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitnoman v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yitalal shemei dekudesha.
Berichu.
V'richu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiram be'yama v'imeru.
Amen.
Tika bal tzalot hon, uval hon defo Yisrael, kodam avohon di b'shmaya v'imeru.
Amen.
Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru.
Amen.
Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imeru.
Amen.
I'm trying to imagine Ariel Cohen, Mr. Cohen, in the back of my head, for all of those little fine-tuned points. So, Mr. Cohen, you'll tell me later how we did, okay? Shabbat shalom to you.
We'll put on the strings for you.
Oh, I didn't know what you meant by that. Okay, now I know what you meant by
He
that.
knows.
Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the taking out and reading of our Sefer Torah, page 168.
Ein kamocha v'Elohim Adonai ve'ein kema'asecha malchutecha malechut kol olamim u'memshaltecha bechol dor v'ador Adonai melech Adonai malach Adonai imloch leolam va'en Adonai od li'amo yiteh Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom Avarachamim Eitiva v'irtzoncha et Zion Tivnei chomon Yerushalayim Tivnei chomon Yerushalayim Tivecha levad batachnu Melech el ram v'nisa Adon olamim We rise as the ark is opened. Vayehi b'yitzo Aharon Vayomer Moshe Uma Adonai v'yafutzu oivecha v'yanusu misanecha mipanecha Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Ki mitzion teitzei Torah Udevar Adonai mi Yerushalayim Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Baruch Shenatan Torah Torah Le'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato
Ribbono Shel Olam, Master of the universe. In this world of uncertainties, remind us of what is certain. We are certain that this community cares about its members. We are certain that compassion and thoughtfulness emanate in the most beautiful ways. We are certain that human beings were created with resilience and rootedness in faith. And we are certain that you carry our souls. And we must remember, in doing so, we are never alone. God, let our certainty shadow our uncertainty, urging us to feel your ongoing love, your ongoing care, your ongoing presence wherever our steps may lead. And let us say, Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad
Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo.
Echad Eloheinu Gadol Adonenu Kadosh Shemo
Gadol Adonai iti, U'ne'ema Shemo
Echad Adonai Agedula ve'agevura ve'atiferet ve'hanetzach ve'hahor Ki chova בשמיים ובארץ, כי טוב בשמיים ובארץ. לך אדוני הממלכה והמנעשה לכל לראש. רוממו, רוממו, אדוני אלוהינו, וישתחוו, וישתחוו, להדום רגליו קדוש הוא. רוממו אלוהינו וישתחוו להר קודשו, כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו.
Just give us a few seconds and then we'll put the Torah down and then you'll be able to sit at home. In a few moments, we will be reading from Acharei Mot Kedoshim, but reading from Acharei Mot, which is found in our Eitz Chaim Chumash on page 679, 679, otherwise chapter 16, verse 1. Once again, Vayikra chapter 16, verse 1, otherwise in the Eitz Chaim Chumash, page 679. So as I mentioned, it's a double parsha once again this week, Acharei Mot Kedoshim. And I'm skipping to Kedoshim, in which the parsha speaks about the ways in which we bring holiness into our lives. And if you read through the various commentators, and I'm not going to completely focus on this point, but I think it's poignant for this moment in our lives, the commentators explain that the way to achieve holiness is through separation and through refraining, by adding restrictions to our lives. And so even though that feels very applicable right now, our separation is causing much angst among all of us. I think we, in a sense, can see that healing and godliness and holiness can take place amidst that separation. But I want to draw your attention to a verse that caught my eye. If you look at Vayikra 19:10. 19:10, you should not pick your vineyard bare. Once again, you should not pick your vineyard bare. Now, to follow that, and I think a lot of us know this idea that we are supposed to leave the corners of our field alone so that the poor can come and collect the food that they need. And I think this makes complete sense for the corners of our field, but I couldn't help but look at that phrase again. Lo te'olel. Don't pick your vineyard bare. I think that those words might be trying to call our attention, especially at this time, to a different idea. Rashi says when you look at the verb olel, it's related to the nouns olel and olal, and that refers to an infant or a child. So if you own a vineyard, you're not supposed to pick the fruit that's childlike. You're not supposed to pick the fruit that's immature, that's not ready for eating or for gleaning. And if you look further, the Midrash points to an argument between Rabbi Eliezer and Rabbi Akiva. Rabbi Eliezer says the grapes that are immature, that aren't ready to be picked, those belong to the owner. And Rabbi Akiva says it doesn't matter, even those belong to the poor. But Rabbi Eliezer points out, and listen to this, but if there's nothing left to glean, if there's nothing left to take because those aren't fit for eating, what exactly is the poor supposed to take? Here's the reason why I wanted to bring this up this morning. That question again. If there's nothing left to take, if you have your vineyard and it's completely bare, then what's left for anyone else? And the reason why I wanted to bring it up this morning is because I want you to think about your own state of being and your own mental health. This may be a time in which you feel like you have to be everything for everyone. This may be a time in which people are telling you, you have so much time, so you better use it productively and you better fill it with X, Y, and Z. But again, don't pick your vineyard bare. meaning make sure that there's enough sustenance within your soul to continue on day after day. We pray that you are taking care of your health, that you're taking care of your mental health and your physical health and your spiritual health. And if you need help, and you know it sounds a little cliche to say it, but we pray that you reach out to us because we want to be there to help fill your vineyard. And if you don't feel comfortable reaching out to us, reach out to someone else who will reach out to us. We want to help sustain your days. You won't be able to help others if your vineyard is bare. I think holiness comes when we recognize the balance between preserving our own soul and sustaining the rest of the world. And the Torah is clear here. We need both. So let's achieve that holiness together, maintaining our mental and our physical and our spiritual well-being. Don't let your vineyard go bare. Amen. Once again, we're found on page 679. 679, Vayikra chapter 16, verse 1. We have really exciting news. George, who's incredible, George Garcia explained that next week we'll make sure to actually be able to share the screen with you so that you'll be able to read the Torah brachot without me holding it up for you in such an awkward way in the way that I usually do. So in the meantime, you'll just bear with me. But George, thank you for that recommendation for next week. Just like last week, though, we're going to ask you if you are choosing to stand for this aliyah and you choose to participate with us, which we hope you will. Think about an honor in which you're standing for. So are you standing in gratitude for something? Are you standing in anniversary of a special occasion? Are you standing because someone is ill? Or maybe you've had some kind of miracle in your life in the last week or so? Explain in the chat why you're choosing to take this aliyah. Maybe it's your birthday. Baruch hu et Adonai hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai hamforach leolam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai hamvorach leolam va'ed. Baruch ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch ata Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Vaydaber Adonai el Moshe acharei mot shnei bnei Aharon v'korbatam lifnei Adonai v'yamutu. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe daber el Aharon achicha vayavo b'chol eit el hakodesh mibeit laparochet el pnei hakaporet asher Aharon v'lo yamut ki be'anan era'e el hakaporet Bezohot yavo Aharon el hakodesh befar ben bakar lechata v'ayaleola Betonet bahad kodesh v'la yobash u'michaseva yobash u'michaseva yobasaro v'avnet bad yachkor u'mitnefet bahad yitnov bigdei kodesh hem v'rachatz b'mayim v'saro leveisham u'me'et u'me'et adat b'nei Yisrael yukach shnei sirim mizim lechatat ayolachad leolah Vikrivaron parachat asher lo v'chervedo v'yahad beito v'lakach shnei asirim v'mirotam l'fnei Adonai petach moed v'natan Aharon al shnei hasirim goralot goral echad l'Adonai v'goral echad l'Azazel Vikrivaron et hasair asher la'alav hagoral l'Adonai v'asahu chatat v'asehir asher la'alav hagoral l'Azazel yamod chai Mipnei Adonai lechaper alav l'shalech oto lazazel hamidbara v'ikriv Aaron ha'parachatat asher lo v'chirado v'yad beito v'shachad ha'parachatat asher lo v'lakach malo machtah ha'gachal eish me'al hamizbeach m'lifnei Adonai meloch ofnav ketoret samim daka v'hevi mibela parochet v'natan et hakatoret el eish lifnei Adonai Chisa anana katoret et akaporet asher la hedud v'lo yamut v'lakach midam apar v'hizaha v'yetzba'o al pnei hakaporet kedma לפני הכפורת יזה שבע פעמים מן אדם באצבעו ושחט את ציר החטאת אשר לעם, הביא את עמו מבית לפרוכת, יסע ועשה את עמו כאשר עשה, ועשה את עמו כאשר ועשה את עמו כאשר עשה, לדם הפר ויזע אותו, לכפור לבני הכפורת, וכיפר על הקודש, מתמות בני ישראל מפשעיהם לכל חטאותם, וכן יעשה לו המועד השוכן איתם בתוך תהומותם, וכל אדם לא יהיה בו המועד בבואו לכפר בקודש עד צאתו, וכפר בידו ויד ביתו ויד כל קהל ישראל.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata betochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. We pause now in our service, in which we'll ask you to join with us in a Mishaberach Lecholim, a blessing of healing upon those who are ill within our congregational and extended family. You're all part of our extended family. And so in the middle of the prayer, I'll name some names that we have here, but we'll ask for you to include the people in your lives that you're praying for, add their names to the chat so that we can join in a woven prayer from all over the world, a prayer of healing.
Mishaberach Avoteinu mekor habracha Avoteinu, may the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
Esther bat Leah, Chaya Elka bat Miriam, Zipporah bat Ariel Leib, Sarah bat Sima, Getzel ben Hannah, Shmuel Pesach ben Seymour Renee, Herzl ben Eleanor, Nachum ben Malka, Rachalea bat Hanachuna, Iba Kelamin, Menashe ben Shazan Sarah, Michael ben Tova ben Eliyahu, Shoshana bat Hannah, Chaya bat Ariel, Dylan Shear, Gila Nisan bat Mazel. We pause for your names that you'd like to add to this prayer.
Mishaberach Imoteinu mekor habracha le'avoteinu, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We pray for healing for all of the members of our community and extended community and our first responders. We pray for the deep conviction of healing that I believe is strengthened when each and every one of us joins in a prayer like this, the healing of mind and the healing of body and the healing of spirit. And let us all say, Amen. I'll ask everyone to please rise. Sorry, we're just discussing what time it is. I'll ask everyone to please rise. We're found on page 174. V'zot haTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe.
ותומכי המאושר, עץ חיים היא למחזיקים בה ותומכי המאושר. Shalom, 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 shalom. It is a tree of life for those who hold on to it, and all who uphold it are Happy it is a tree of life for those who hold on to it, and all who uphold it are happy. Shalom all together. Shalom, 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 shalom.
You may be seated. We continue on page 177. Page 177, a prayer for our country. We're found in the first paragraph in English of that prayer, middle of the page. Please join with me. Our God and God of our ancestors, with mercy accept our prayer on behalf of our country and its government. Pour out your blessing upon this land, upon its inhabitants, upon its leaders, its judges, officers, and officials, who faithfully devote themselves to the needs of the public. Help them understand the rules of justice you have decreed, so that peace and security, happiness and freedom will never depart from our land. We're found on page 178, a prayer for the state of Israel. Avinu Shabbat Shamayim, stronghold and redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel that it may be the beginning of our redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them. Crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. I'll ask everyone to rise if you're not already doing so as we return our Sefer Torah to the Ark, page 183.
Ya hallelujah.
Ki niskav shemo levado.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, Uvnuchai Omar. Ki lekach tov natati lachem Torati al ta'azovu Etz chaim hi lamachazikim ba v'tomcheha meushar deracheha darchei noam v'chol netivoteha Shalom Hashivenu Adonai Elecha v'nashuva Kadesh Yameinu v'kedem. Before we have our Musaf service, I want to share with you a story that, as of last week, I could not have made up. As Rabbi Guzik explained, this idea of Kedoshim, of holiness, and how when our vineyards are bare, what do we do? And I want to share with you a story, perhaps, of how we can refill those vineyards. As a rabbi, you officiate at many different life cycle events, from birth to death. We've been in your homes for brises and baby namings, for funerals and shivas. We've stood right here so many Shabbatot celebrating B'nai Mitzvah. And of course, a rabbi officiates at weddings. And we know over these last few months, so many weddings have been postponed, not canceled, but postponed to a later date. And there's one couple that I had been meeting with over the last 6 or 7 months who was going to get married in late March. And of course, the wedding became postponed. A couple of weeks back, about a month ago, the bride called me and said that her father was very ill. And a week later, she called me and said that her dad had passed away. And then she called me this past week and said that she had her civil license, the bride and groom had their civil license ready to go, but it was about to expire in the first week of May. Now, according to California and Jewish law, you have to have a civil license before you have a Jewish wedding, or usually you see us do it at the same time. What should we do? We couldn't just have a ketubah. So this is what we did. In a sha'at techach, in a time of an emergency, basically, in an unprecedented time. But before I'm going to tell you what I did some research. I found out, would this civil marriage, could it just be done by a rabbi, and what would that look like? When I went back to 1492, when the Jews were expelled from Spain, there was no chance of a bride and a groom standing under a chuppah wedding canopy. And the rabbis at that time said a civil license is valid, that's it. But over so many hundreds of years, rabbis have been afraid to do something like this because what if they didn't have a Jewish wedding? What would that look like? And then I went to the Shulchan Aruch, the Jewish Code of Law. And in it, it says that if there is a time when the parties would be in danger of standing under a chuppah, a wedding canopy, then do that civil ceremony and consider it valid. And so on Thursday afternoon, there were 5 of us, a bride, a groom, a rabbi, and 2 witnesses for a civil license, practicing social distancing with mask and gloves and sealed pens that had not been opened before. And we had a civil license ceremony. And you know, at a wedding, you're not supposed to recite the Shechianu because it's not should be a first, rather it should be an everlasting relationship. But we did, because that was a first. Because Kedoshim Tihiyu, you must be holy. Also, in Acharei Mo Kedoshim, you read of sacred relationships. It was time to make that relationship sacred. And so we recited the Shechianu. And at the end of our civil ceremony that we crafted together, the bride took out the talit of her recently passed father. And the bride and groom wrapped it around each other for the entire park to see. And then in that talit bag, she explained her father would carry hard candy to the synagogue. And so we showered them with the hard candy that her father would sweeten his mouth with at the synagogue. And the postscript, as we began singing Siman Tov Mazel Tov, we had many uninvited guests standing at 10 feet or more away from each other. People that understood what was happening, that we were trying to bring joy into this difficult moment. And yesterday the bride wrote me and said she didn't know what to expect, but they are over the moon. And a couple came up to them later and gave them a beautiful, timely gift, a 12-pack of paper towels. You know, the Pozener Rav says that each month when we pray in the blessing for the new month, Birchat HaChodesh, Chaim Arukim, a long life, why do we say that every month? How could just one month be a long life? And he says it's not quantity, but rather it's quality. Every month we pray for a quality of life. That's what we have been praying for, not just each of these months, but each one of these days. And I'm proud to say that this past week, I witnessed a Chaim Arukim, the establishment of a long life together. And so I pray that this Shabbat and this coming week, you think about how you can make your life Chaim Arukim, long in quality, long in sacredness, and long in love. Shabbat Shalom. We turn over to Cantor Feldman for our Musaf service, as well as Mr. Ariel Cohen.
Shabbat Shalom, Yasher Koach Rabbi Sherman, Yasher Koach Rabbi Guzik on a beautiful Shachrit and Torah service. Please rise as we turn to page 184. Page 184 for the beginning of our Musaf Amidah. Yitkadal vitkadash shemei Rabba Ve'alma divra kirutei ve'amlich malchutei b'chayechon uvimchon v'chayrecho beit Yisrael b'agalav izman kari ve'himeru Amen Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'alam u'le'almei almaya Yitbarach v'ishtabach v'itbar v'troman v'tnase v'ithadar v'itale v'ithalal shmei rekuhudsha בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירם ילמה והימרו. Amen. We join together for the beginning of our Musaf Amidah out loud, pages 185 and 186. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel ve'Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor ve'Hanora El Elyon, Omel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, Vezocher Chasdei Avot, Umevi Goel, Libenei Bneihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Ufolkein, Moshia Umagein, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ufokei tzara. Ata hagibor leolam Adonai, bechayei meitim ata rav leoshia. Morid atal, mechalkel chayim bechesed, bechayei meitim berachamim rabim, somech nofim verofech olim, umatir atzurim, umekayem emunato, mishenei havar. Mi hamocha bar geburot, mi hamocha bar geburot, umido melach, melech meimit umechayem, umatzmiach Yeshua, ונאמן אתה להחיות מתים. ברוך אתה אדוני מחיי המתים. We turn to page 187 as we join together for our Kedusha. מקומו ממקומו הוא יפן ברחמים ויחונם המייחדים שמו ערב ובוקר לכל יום תמיד המים באדם שמרים שמע ישראל אדוני אלוהינו אדוני אחד הוא אלוהינו הוא אבינו הוא מלכנו הוא מושיענו והוא ישמיענו ברחמיו שנית לעיני כל חי להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם דברי קודשך כתוב לאמור ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהיך ציון לדור ודור הללויה 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 לדור ודור נגיד גודל לך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד כי אין מלך גדול וקדוש אתה לדור ודור לדור ודור לדור ודור נגיד גודלך ולנצח נצחים ולנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ברוך אתה אדוני continue praying the remainder of the Amidah privately, pages 188 through 192. If you're still praying your Amidah, please continue at your own pace. We turn to page 191 as we join together in a song for peace, Sim Shalom. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, Chen b'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova uvracha, Chen b'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, Barcheinu Avinu kulanu kechad be'or panecha, ki be'or panecha natata lanu Adonai Eloheinu. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova uveracha, Chen b'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha. Torat Chaim, Torat Chaim, ve'avat chesed, u'tzedaka uvracha, ve'rachamim, ve'chaim, ve'shalom. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova uveracha, Chen b'chesed v'rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael amecha, V'tov be'einecha levarech et amecha Yisrael. Bechol eit ubechol shah, b'shalomecha. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom, tova uveracha, Chen v'chesed Yisrael Amecha. Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Sim Shalom, Tova u'Beracha, Chen v'Chesed v'Rachamim, Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Amecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Hamevarech et amo Yisrael Shalom. Sim shalom, sim shalom, sim shalom. We turn ahead to page 203 as we join together for Kaddish Shalem. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ועלמא דברה קירותי וימליך מלכותי, בחיי חון ובמכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל, ועגלה בזמן קריב וימרו, אמן. יהי שמי הרבה מברך, לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך, וישתבח ויתבר ויתרומה מתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתעלה שמי לקודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ורחמתה דמינה מימה וימרו, Amen. Et hitkabat sloton varkon koiswer kodam von vishmai vehimeru. Amen. Yeh shlama rab min shmaya vechayim. Alen ve'al kol Israel vehimeru. Amen. Ose shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Ose shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Oseh shalom bimromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu ve'imeru. Amen. Shabbat Shalom and Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Wolpe.
Shabbat Shalom. Mizmor leDavid, Adonai rohi lo echsar, v'hinot yar b'tzeni, al mei menuchot yenahaleni. Nafshi yeshover, nafshi yeshover, yancheni b'mahar letzedek leman shemo. Some of you will recognize that. It's the 23rd Psalm, or at least the beginning of the 23rd Psalm. And I sang it because we sing it so often, sometimes at Shabbat, sometimes during the week, often in moments of trial or difficulty, at funerals, at bedsides of those who are sick. I know that it was chutzpah, that it was presumption for me to sing something to you right after Cantor Feldman sang something. You know, there is an old saying that if you say the cantor doesn't speak well and the rabbi doesn't sing well, that's lashon hara, that's evil speech. But if you say the cantor doesn't sing well and the rabbi doesn't speak well, that's murder. So I want you to know that if your reaction to the beginning of this sermon was the rabbi doesn't sing well, it's not good, but it's okay. But at the end of the sermon, you're not allowed to say the rabbi doesn't speak well. And I sang it, not because I thought you had a deep hankering to hear a beautiful voice, since you just heard one, but because I thought that it would bring back to some of you the emotional resonance of hearing that psalm at different times. And I bring it up because the truth of giving drashot, of giving sermons on Shabbat morning, is that we have wonderful opportunities to explore the lessons in the Torah. And this week is a very rich portion, after all, Acharei Mot Kedoshim, and I taught about it during the week. But sometimes there are other parts of the Tanakh, of our sacred scriptures, of the Bible, that we don't get to talk about because they don't come up on Shabbat. Or if they do, we don't focus on them because we talk about the Torah portion. But this week, both in the sermon and in the off the pulpit message that I'm going to send out later in the week, I want to talk to you about the most important word in the 23rd Psalm. It's the one that in English goes, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul." It is probably among the best known, or is certainly among the best known passages in the Hebrew Bible in English translation. The phrases from it are familiar to us from the King James translation. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy will follow me all the days of my life. And the phrase that I want to speak to you about on this Shabbat is the phrase, Gam ki elech begeit salmavet, lo ira ra ki ata imadi. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. And I remember years ago, when we studied this psalm, when I was a student studying to be a rabbi, one of our teachers said to us that the most important word in this psalm is one that is often overlooked. It's the word walk. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. The word walk is critical in the Jewish world and Jewish tradition. You may know that Jewish law is called halacha, it's called walking. Because our belief is that you have to move through this world, that stagnation is death, that tradition does not mean immovability, that tradition is something that moves with the generations together, hand in hand, with modernity and innovation, but even more important, in one's individual life. When you find yourself in the valley of the shadow of death, what do you do? As a rabbi over the years, I have talked to innumerable people who are under the burden of grief. And grief, as you know, comes in all forms. There's mourning for parents, for children, for brothers and sisters, for grandparents, for other family members, for friends, sometimes for strangers. There's grief for things that we have lost that are not individuals, like the loss of dream or the loss of home. For people who've been forced to immigrate, sometimes the loss of language. Our means of grief are innumerable. There are as many griefs as there are ways to lose in this world. And what is our reaction to them? Gam ki elech begeitz al mavet. You must grieve, but you must walk. You cannot stay in the place of grief. When you lose someone close to you for 7 days, you stay in your home sitting Shiva, but then you have to walk around the block to end the week of Shiva. You must walk because you cannot stay in the valley. If you do, then you are turning your back on life and on God's gifts. And that's why it says, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me, because it is in the walking that we affirm our faith in God, that this world is still worthwhile, that we still walk through it, that we do not stay there. In a way, the whole world has been sitting Shiva. We've all been home, wondering what to do, where to go. But the time is coming, sooner or later in different ways, when the doors will be open and we must walk. When this time will end, this valley of the shadow of death, that the entire world in different ways has endured. And when that time comes, I hope that we will remember the message of the psalmist, that all of earth is God's world. And as we walk through it, we experience the wonder of being able to absorb the lessons of the past and the difficulties of the present without letting them imprison our future. Gam ki elech begeitz al mavet lo irara ki ata imadi shiftecha umishantecha shiftecha umishantecha ema yenachamuni. Your presence, dear God, comforts us. And now we will walk. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom, Rabbi Wolpe and Yasher Koach, on a beautiful sermon. And we continue with Ein Keloheinu. We're found on page 204.
Ein Keloheinu, Ein Adonenu, Ein Kemalkeinu, Ein Kemoshienu, Mich Eloheinu, Mich Adonenu, Mich Kemalkeinu, Mich Kemoshienu.
Please rise for Aleinu, page 205.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula lioter breshit, shelo asanu gedoye haratzot velo samanu k'mishbachot adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, vegor aleinu kechol hamahonam, va'anachnu משתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושלירת עוזו בקווי מרומים הוא אלוהינו Malkeinu et mezulato, Gagatu betorahato, V'yadata hayom ve'ashevota elevamecha, Ki Adonai hu Elohim, B'shamayim ima'al, Ve'al haaretz mitachat, Eino.
Kakatu v'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed.
V'ne'emar ve'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz. Bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad. U'shemo
Please be seated.
We recall with affection those who no longer walk this earth. Grateful to God for the gift of their lives, for their sweet companionship, and for their cherished memories which endure. May God comfort all who mourn. This Shabbat, we recall the recent passing of Gershon Gerald Swirsky, father of Anna August. Also the passing of Florence Ruth Weisbren, wife of Dr. Burton Armin Weisbren Sr., blessed memory, mother of Dr. Burton Weisbren and Dr. Susan Weisbren of blessed memory, and grandmother of Sinai Temple member Lauren Nathanson. We also recall the passing of Elaine Doris Schneier, mother of Sandy Einberg, and great-grandmother of Jessica Keys, and the passing of Phyllis Dreyfus, wife of Donald Dreyfus of blessed memory, stepmother of Daniel and Tom, and grandmother of Christopher Dreyfus. We also recall those yortzites who will be observed during this coming week. Shochri Afram, Arlene Appel, Morris Becker, Habib Benyamin, Barbara Bursey, Giovanna Berger, Shamuel Baruchim, Molly Bishin, Michael Bohm, Violet Bomash, Constance Brand, Julieta Cervantes, Rahmat Dagan, John Danashrad, Sion Eitan, Margaret Farkas, Howard Feldman, Elsie Finkelstein, Harry Freeling, Sidney Genser, Lee Roy Gentry, Marvin Glasspiegel, Philip Goldberg, Albert Goldman, Morris Goldsmith, Jake Goldman, Joseph Gouze, Hamid Hakim, Frida Y. Halaban, Alice Hanberg, Shirley Height, Abdullah Hekmat, Manusher Javaher Farouche, Ethel Klugman, Edward Abe Lasher, Sidney Lazaroff, Sophia Leb, Julius Leventhal, David Licker, Meyer Lipschultz, Herman Lowinger, Teresa Lowinger, Fred Mandelbaum, Marjorie Marone, Agdis Rafi Mayeri, Yosef Mesri, Julius Milner, Mina Nazarian, Harriet Paley, Kanon Bat Mordechai Parsi, Mansour Parsi, Meyer Potashnik, Abraham Puladian, Sharon Price, Nadia Kehia, Nasser Rad Parvar, Baruch Rahmani, Agat John Rayan, Pauline Rosen, Hannah Rosen, Albert Rosenberg, Samuel Rosenblatt, Abraham Rosenfeld, Jacob Samuel, Sylvia Sanders, Maurice Griffin Sanders, Harold Lee Segal, Robbie Mayer Shadi, Solly Shayo, Doreen Shapiro, Sarah Samahi, Sam Singer, Nathan Sweet, Lucia V. Tebe, Mac Thalheimer, William Trunk, Faye Vittergoss, Nancy Weiner, Gerhard Weir, Zlata Wolf, Yadola Unesi, Abraham Milton Zusman. If there are any other yard sites to be observed, please write them in the chat so we can observe them at this time. We ask those in mourning or observing a yard site to please rise on page 207. Page 207 to sanctify God's holy name in the words of the Mourners Kaddish. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'alma divarach hirute v'yamlich malchute. V'chayechon v'yomechon v'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael. V'agala uvizman kari v'maru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach leolam olomei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpawar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudesha barichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechemata. Da'amiram bi'alma v'yimaru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. Osei shalom imromav. Uya asei shalom aleinu. V'al kol Yisrael v'yimaru amen. May God who brings peace unto heaven bring peace unto all those who mourn. Let us all say, Amen. You may be seated. In a few moments, we'll conclude with Cantor Feldman and the singing of Adon Olam. Several of announcements this week.
Okay, sure. Why not? So first of all, greetings on behalf of Jamie Berman, our Sinai Temple president. Greetings from Howard Lessner, our executive director. Greetings from the entire clergy team, including Rabbi Wolpe, who's at the door. Shabbat Shalom. And greetings from our board of directors. We all miss you and we look forward to seeing you soon. So some announcements about what's going on this week. First of all, you can go to our Sinai Temple website, www.sinaitemple.org, to see our Sinai streamed classes. We hope that you'll join us. There's various classes, ones in which you can interact via Zoom, others which you can learn and listen. So we hope you partake. I'm leading not necessarily a class, but it's called Unwind with Rabbi Guzik. And what I mean by that is Thursday evening, I want to say 7:30, but maybe we can put the exact time in the chat. Cantor Keith Miller is joining us and putting on a virtual Israeli wine tasting. He might be the only one tasting the Israeli wine, but if you have Israeli wine at your home, I hope you'll join us. And if you don't, take whatever you have and join us. We'll learn about Israeli wines. We'll sip whatever we have in our rooms, and we'll do a l'chaim together. So that's Thursday night. Check the time. Other things, of course, our daily minyan, and of course our weekly Torah studies. And you can check the various times and days for that as well.
And this Tuesday, before you have the wine, you can learn about Israel and what's happening there during these times. I'll be in conversation with Ari Satcher, former senior engineer of the Iron Dome, a rocket scientist and an observant religious Jew, called Israel Lockdown But Not Shutdown, a lunch and learn on Tuesday at noon. You can register online as well. I know Cantor Feldman has some classes as well, so you can tell us what's going on with you.
And Havdalah tonight, and I believe class on Chassidut by Rabbi Rotenberg this evening. Any other classes or announcements? I'm sure
we're busy, and I hope that we make you busy as well.
And with that, Cantor Feldman.
Shabbat Shalom Yasher Koach. We turn to page 211, as it's always there, for Adon Olam. Please join us. Adon Olam Asher Malach בטרם כל יציא נברא, לית נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא, לית נעשה בחפצו כל אזי מלך שמו נקרא. ואחרי כי כלות הכל לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה והוא הווה והוא יהיה בתפארה. יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה לה, יא לה לה, יא לה 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 לה. והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, בלי ראשית בלי תכלית ולא עוז והמשרה. והוא עיני וחי גואלי וצור חבלי בעת צרה. והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום מקרא. בידו אבקיד רוחי ותישן ואירה ואמרוכי גביעתי. אדוני אלי ולא יירא. יאי לי 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 יאי לי לי יאי לי לי. Surprise visitor.
Yeah, I love seeing who accompanied you. Is he still there?
I think he was needed a break.
Okay,
looking for the
I get
challah.
it. I get it. We're asking everyone to rise for Kiddush. We're found on page 77. Cantor, you want to lead us in Vishamru?
Sure.
Okay, page 77.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין ישראל עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם, עוד היא לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. Rabbi Sherman?
וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
על כן ברך אדוני את יום השבת ויקדשהו סברי.
L'chaim.
ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם בורא פרי הגפן.
Amen. So have you seen over the last several weeks, we've had challah here, but those challahs have actually run out because we're not ordering them because you are not here with us. So we're going to ask you, we'll do the motzi together, but we're going to ask if you have a piece of challah at home.
You're going to hold it up for us. It's
Exactly.
okay, Cantor Feldman. He's
We
like
are
looking
being,
around. He's like, I'm.
No, this is for you at home.
So you hold up your challah. This is your interactive part, and you'll say the motzi with us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz.
Amen.
Ribono shel olam, Master of the universe, may we continue to put one step in front of the other, halacha. May we continue to walk in order to add a sense of kedusha, a sense of holiness, a sense of sacredness, as we refill our vineyards with love. And let us say,
Amen.
Amen. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 shalom.
Shabbat shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Have a beautiful Shabbat.